Hello everybody. Today I'd love to take a trip, a little visit, into some of history's most epic and catastrophic volcanoes. I hope you enjoy. Mount St. Helens erupted on May 18, 1980. The volcano, located in southwestern Washington, used to be a beautiful symmetrical cone about 9,600 feet above sea level. The eruption, which removed the upper 1,300 feet of the summit, left a horseshoe-shaped crater and a barren wasteland. Today, the land is healing, having recovered its natural beauty, but the landscape has been permanently altered. It has often been declared as the most disastrous volcanic eruption in United States history. An earthquake at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sunday, May 18, 1980, caused the entire weakened north face to slide away, creating the largest landslide ever recorded. Shortly after the lateral blast, a second vertical explosion occurred at the summit of the volcano, sending a mushroom cloud of ash and gases more than 12 miles up into the air. The cloud of ash darkened the skies, causing streetlights to come on as far as Spokane, Washington, more than 300 miles away. Ash continued to erupt for more than 9 hours. Ultimately, an estimated 540 million tons of ash drifted up to 2,200 square miles, settling over 7 states. "57 people are known to have died, thousands of animals were killed, more than 200 homes were destroyed, more than 185 miles of road and 15 miles of railway were damaged. Ash clogged sewage systems and damaged cars and buildings and temporarily shut down air traffic over Northwest. The International Trade Commission estimated damages to timber, civil works, and agriculture to be $1.1 billion. In addition, Congress approved $950 million in emergency funds to the Army Corps of Engineers, FEMA, and Small Business Administration to help recovery efforts. As far as the story about Santa Maria, prior to 1902, Santa Maria volcano was not active for over 500 to several thousand years. On October 25, 1902, Santa Maria erupted violently. It was followed with some series of earthquakes. These severe earthquakes and the extensive volcanic activity in the region were the unmistakable indicators of the upcoming eruption. There was no historical record of previous volcanic activity. These warning signs were not recognized. The Plinian eruption, or the most destructive type of volcanic eruption there is, killed at least 6,000 people and tore a gaping hole in the south flank of the cone. It darkened the skies over Guatemala for days. The worldwide impact was significant, as ash was detected as far away as San Francisco, California. This first historic eruption of Santa Maria was the second largest volcanic eruption in the 20th century. Because of the lack of recorded eruptive activity at Santa Maria, Local people did not recognize the preceding seismicity as warning signs of an eruption. In the middle of the disaster, Quetzaltenango regional authorities had to take charge, as the central government was focused on the celebration of the Fiestas Minervalias, the largest propaganda festival of President Manuel Estrada Cabrera regime. Furthermore, the central government was so focused on the festival that it tried to minimize the impact of the eruption and went as far as to tell the citizens that it was not in Guatemala soil, it was in Mexico. Furthermore, the official government response was to tell Quetzaltenango authorities that there were no funds for the recovery, as those were already spent in the help after the April 1902 earthquake. For the native people, the eruption consequences were catastrophic. They not only lost relatives, friends, homes and harvest, but they were also forced to work free of charge in the recovery, while Criollo, landlords of Spanish descent, were compensated by the loss with lands that were confiscated from native communities. Let's take a trip in history into the Mount Vesuvius eruption of '79. Mount Vesuvius has become familiar to many people from the time that archaeologists began to search for the world that had been buried during the eruption of 79 AD. Yet it is one of the smallest active volcanoes in the world. The name Vesuvius, or Vespius, means unextinguished. When a volcano is active, there are usually several calm years between eruptions. During calm times, people settled near the mountain. People still choose to settle near Vesuvius, as well as Mount Etna in Sicily, because the volcanic ash provides rich soil suitable for producing excellent wine grapes. The wine produced from the grapes around Vesuvius today is called Lacrima Christi. People feel secure because tranquil times can last up to 2,000 years. Stories of eruptions become folk tales. People feel safe, however. As long as the volcano is active, they are living atop a live bomb. Today, there are over 2 million people living in the vicinity of Mount Vesuvius, a volcano that has erupted more than 50 times since 79 AD. The volcano is classed as a complex stratovolcano because its eruptions typically involve explosive eruptions as well as pyroclastic flows. Vesuvius and other Italian volcanoes are part of the Campanian volcanic arc. The Campanian arc sits on a tectonic boundary where the African plate is being subducted beneath the Eurasian plate. Under Vesuvius, scientists have detected a tear in the African plate. This slab window allows heat from the Earth's mantle layer to melt the rock of the African plate, building up pressure that causes violent explosive eruptions. Around 1 p.m. August 22nd, Mount Vesuvius violently erupted, spewing up a high-altitude column from which ash and pumice began to fall, blanketing the area. Rescues and escapes occurred during this time. At some time in the night or early the next day, August 23rd, pyroclastic flows in the close vicinity of the volcano began. Lights seen on the mountain were interpreted as fires. People as far as the city of Misenum fled for their lives. The flows were rapid moving, dense, and very hot, knocking down wholly or partly all structures in their path, incinerating or suffocating all population remaining there and altering the landscape, including the coastline. These were accompanied by additional light tremors and mild tsunami in the Bay of Naples. By evening of the second day, the eruption was over, leaving only haze in the atmosphere through which the sun shone weakly. Pliny the Younger was a witness to the eruption of Vesuvius and he wrote an account of the eruption. He says, "Broad sheets of flame were lighting up many parts of Vesuvius. Their light and brightness were the more vivid for the darkness of the night. It was daylight now elsewhere in the world, but there the darkness was darker and thicker than any night." I hope you enjoyed this expedition on uncovering some of history's most epic volcanoes. See you next time.